Hi and welcome to video 7. In this video I would like to introduce the tour map, how the tour fits together in its different parts, the discovery visit, the entire discovery visit fits together. I'd also like to talk about the second question. How do we answer the second question, what do customers get for their money, the running costs and the caravans cottages, how does that break down? Okay, so because it's all about the tension. So first things first, here we have the tour map. So we talked about the initial customer inquiry, how that was going to be a known unknown, how we were going to use the price list to address that, how the price list introduced the question, how much do you know about cottage, how much do you know about caravan ownership. That in turn allowed us to do the jigsaw puzzle, how that broke down to make a number of simple decisions for the customer. Would you like to know more? Introduces the owner information pack. The owner information pack, we go through the pages from the start to page 9. Page 9 being is when the rental program, the subletting options are discussed with the customer. We also, the following page invites them on the structure of the tour. What I'd like to do is I'd like to take you out and show you around the park, around the resort, and while doing that, I'd like to break down the resort, the running costs, exactly how they're payable and so forth, and in turn also give you some caravan and cottage price examples. Would that be okay? We talked about here the importance of when you're going to answer a question, explain what you're going to do, answer the question and recap. Okay, so the second key question. We've answered the question, what should customers take into account? That's what we use the jigsaw puzzle for, to address tension, because if it's not right, what I suggest to my families is they keep on looking. What do customers get for their money? How are we going to illustrate that properly? As I said to you, the easiest way to do that is to say, how about we go around the resort, and as we're out there, I will talk you through the individual costs. So as we go around the resort, it allows us to demonstrate value, but also illustrate things like, how big is the team? What services do they provide? What's the environment of the park? What do we do maintenance-wise with the landscaping, the street lighting, the rubbish, the garbage collection, water, sewer, the facilities? What activities do we put on for owners? All that stuff, okay? It's also, because in doing that, it starts to build value in the resort, in the site fees. We also want to explain, we should explain to customers at this opportunity exactly how the fees work, what they cover, when and how they're payable, how do different utilities work. So are there separate payments for taxis, for rates, for water, for sewer, for hydroelectricity, propane? How does it work? What's the process for reordering propane? Yeah, those sorts of things. And what I recommend is to actually explain the billing cycle from December the 1st to December the 1st, 1 year to the next, when customers will get an invoice, when they'll get a bill, what it'll be for, and why, and what are the payment options. So can our customers pay their fees by installment, or in 2 halves, or in one go, or explain so it's clear to them, okay? Because in doing that, as I say, we build value and we demonstrate credibility. The next thing we want to do is to actually illustrate the price differential in caravan stroke cottages to our customers. And the easiest way to do this is to actually show them some examples. Now, key here, I don't want to use our own stock. There are several reasons for that. Firstly, our stock gets sold and it moves. And if you're using caravans or cottages which aren't there the next week, it means you've got to continuously change your route around on your tour, okay? And that leads to confusion. If we have a set route we do pretty much every time, it makes it much easier for us. In addition to that, When it's our stock, funny enough, the customers are going to say, oh good, can we go and have a look? And at this stage, I don't want you going there just yet. We haven't given the customers enough to make a valid judgment about that. Additionally, generally what I find is owners' units tend to look better. They're on a site, on a pitch, they're frequently their landscape, they've got their personal possessions, their barbecues, the deck, the whatever. So they look far better than the boxes we have standing on our showground show yard. Okay, so we select, and our examples should absolutely reflect the prices we've used on our price list, our entry, second, third, fourth, and fit the descriptions we had on our price list. Because what we're going to do when we get there is, remember here, okay, as a family, if you remember earlier, one of the things I said I would explain is what's the price differential when it comes to caravans, cottages? You know, what do people get for the money? And if it's all right with you, what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk you through this example. So, as what you can see in front of you, this is an owner's unit. However, any price is a good illustration, and any price I quote to you is a fully inclusive price. It includes all the furniture, the carpets, the kitchen appliances, the curtains, the fitted kitchen. It's everything. It's ready to go, okay? It also includes the siting, the connection to all services, the gas safety test, the warranty, the PDI, the balance of the resort fees for the year, or whatever is relevant. Get all that out of the way. Okay, then typically most caravans park models have a pretty similar layout, and generally what that would be, looking at this one right here, the bedrooms tend to be in the far end, okay? And at minimum there'll be a double, and then frequently the second bedroom that will frequently have two single beds which can convert to a double. The bathroom, shower, toilet, basin was always predominantly in the back end, and then as we come forward, the kitchen tends to be in the middle, fully fitted kitchen, proper domestic appliances, okay? And then the front end tends to be the living area, and that comes fully furnished, okay? So, recap, fully inclusive pricing, sited, connected, ready to go, and this one here, ballpark, ticket around the X thousand, which to what most of my families actually means, it's a deposit down payment of around there and a monthly payment of around there. Okay? Any questions? Are you happy with that? Okay, good. Shall we carry on then? So off we go, assuming we have their agreement. So, we have three or four price examples is always what I'd recommend on any resort. And the price examples should be at sort of trigger points. Do we go from one size to another size? Do we go to a double wide? Do we go 12 to 14 wide? What are the significant differences? I would also suggest that you don't do all the examples back to back. It's too much for customers to take into account. And when we look here at our route map, okay, we invite them on the park tour. As we go around, we're going to explain fees. We're going to do a price example. We're going to talk some other stuff, talk about the next price example. Other stuff, talk about the next price example. Break them up. There are several reasons for that. I want to break them up because I know what that does is it allows the customers to have a conversation with each other. Oh, I didn't realise that was that and that was that, and for only X more down as a deposit and X more on our monthly, we could actually go from that to that. I want the families to be talking, okay? Now, what's the difference in what explanation do we give on our additional price examples? It's worth re-highlighting that they're fully furnished and an inclusive price. But we've already said that the basic layouts are the same. So what's the differential? Have we gone newer? Have we gone wider, longer? What's the big difference? And that would, what I suggest to you, should only be the key things that you talk about. So price example 3, for example, could be where we go new. So, okay, remember earlier family, as a family, I did explain to you that I was going to show you some pricing examples. Well, if it's all right with you now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to give you my third pricing example. Now, if you remember earlier, what I said to you was all the prices I quote are fully inclusive, and the units are pretty much ready to move into. So the difference between this unit to the last is that this one is X much wider, this is a brand new one, da-di-da-di-da-di-da. So just to recap, fully inclusive price again, fully furnished, whatever. Difference price-wise here, we're actually looking somewhere, a down payment of deposit of around this, and a monthly payment about that. Any questions? No? Shall we carry on? Okay. Let's move on then. Okay, so that's how we do the differentials. Another thing which it's a myth that lots and lots of customers have, and the sooner we dispel it, the better. And I would suggest to you that it's probably on the second price example. Okay, so if you remember earlier, Mr. Family, what I said to you was I was going to give you some pricing examples of what caravans, cottages cost. Okay, this one here is our second price example. But just before I go into detail on that, would it be okay if I just dispel a myth that I've discovered over the years lots of families have? And this is around 1, 2, 3 bedrooms. Because most customers most families sort of think about this sort of in the same way as they would think about domestic property, house, apartment, flat, whatever. And so when they think of more bedrooms, they think that it would cost more, and generally it would be bigger. Okay? But the reality of that is that's not the case, because what actually happens in most cases, the space is just reallocated. So actually, if you have a 14 wide, which is a 2-bedroom and a 3-bedroom, actually the space gets smaller because it's just more stuff in the same box. The actual price differential is negligible, okay? And that is a very common error that customers have made in the past. I just want to clarify for it. So to carry on. So as I say, this one here, our second price example, what we've done, that we've gone up the price, down payment on this one around this, monthly payment about that, and the difference between this one and the first one is that da-di-da-di-da-di-da. Okay, so just to recap. The difference in this one is this, price-wise is that, but again, fully inclusive price and inclusive of all the bits and bobs I described earlier. Okay, you happy with that? Shall we carry on? Okay. So, we've talked about now, how do we address the question, what do customers get for their money? We do it as we go around the resort, and that builds value. It builds credibility and it fills in information for customers. We've gone through the examples we showed them right at the very beginning on our price list. What's the differential? What's the true cost? What's the difference in down payment? What's the difference in monthly payment? What do they get for their money? We've explained exactly what is inclusive within the price, what is exclusive, but we haven't used our own stock. Okay? So, it's also really super important to check with our customers, okay, we're clear, we're happy, shall we move on? So here we go. We've done the first key question, what do customers get for their money? Thanks very much.